Hey. Hey. Hope guys are all gonna. Can you post in Facebook, Carl, or in the other one, in the chat? Hey there. I know. Sorry, guys. We had some technical difficulties. We couldn't remember exactly how to get in, so I will wait a couple of minutes here. Wait for more people to pop in. Yeah. Sorry about that. Sorry about the. We thought we knew what we were doing. Yeah. So let's. Hopefully you're all still there. We have other people popping in. Let me go to Facebook and just re-invite people. To start a new live. Okay, so there's one person there. Maybe that's me. I don't know. Let me give it a few minutes. You can see me? Okay. But just post in our Facebook page, Carl. Oops, I said. Oh, darn. Okay, there's a couple more people popping in now. Sorry about that. We thought we knew what we were doing and how when I scheduled this, but apparently not. So let me give people a couple more minutes to find this and pop over. If someone can post in Facebook or something that we started a different live. It should be on our, if you go to our YouTube channel. So I'll just wait a few more minutes. I know there were about 10, 11 people waiting. So I'll see if they'll make it over. So let's just get settled and we'll do a quick meditation while we're waiting. Hey, Laura. Yeah, you found us. Thanks. Sorry. I know. We thought we knew what we were doing when I set it up. It's been so long since we did a live. So, whoa. So enjoy the light language and coming into the space as people pop in. Wishikinini na watoto toto se kirikitititititi. I set up a consecrated space in a geodesic dome, so to speak. So we're in this 0-point field space, meeting with the 7 higher heavens and also balanced with the 7 micro heavens, or what feeds the quantum field from what the autist had shared. So yeah, thank you to those who hung in there with us as we maneuver through these technical issues. We're not proficient at going in the YouTube live still. But yeah, I felt guided to go into YouTube instead of doing a Zoom and then uploading, and just go directly into Zoom. So we will also then share it via other means, I think. But I felt inspired to come and do a live through YouTube probably about a couple of weeks ago, and so I've been kind of procrastinating about doing that, but finally made my way um, to making that commitment, and stepping in. And I had some, well, I do have some uh, things to share. And then about a half an hour ago, I could really feel Sammie kind of popping in and really streaming a message that's coming in through my brainstem or the ninth chakra. And um, she's uh, she's sending in this message through her Pleiadian self. Um, and I'm not always sure why she how she chooses to uh, transmit. The other day, I got a message from her through my unicorn point, but today it seems to be through the brainstem. And the stars Arcturus and Sirius B and C are prominent in this meeting, and with Sirius A in the background. So I think one thing to clarify for people, um, especially if you're a star seed, is that we're not really from necessarily from one star system. Many of us have in the multidimensional aspect that our souls connect to, we are connected to really all 12 dimensions. And so there are different ways, different aspects of self that comes through in that way. Um, One of the reasons why I was inspired a couple of weeks ago to come in was through a couple of sessions in the past couple of months. I was hearing from people, that there were other beings trying to connect with them and asking them to surrender, that they needed to surrender. And in each of these cases, I mean, people really were feeling kind of uncomfortable, and they didn't know why they couldn't surrender, to these messages. And it really felt like um, they were they were not um, they were entities that were not of the highest order, let's say, and not really part of uh, their team. So if you are getting that feeling, in your gut, somewhere in your body that's saying this doesn't feel right, then you don't have to give in to them. And there are a lot of beings out there that are kind of can disguise themselves as something else or sound like they're friends. So, hey, I see a couple more friends. Thank you for popping in. Yeah, sorry again about the confusion. Well, we're not proficient at using YouTube Live still, so I was just kind of explaining how this came about, and that Samantha has hijacked the session about a half an hour ago. I could feel her starting to come in. So um, hopefully, other people can listen to the recording. So I'll just go right to Sam's message that's coming in as her Pleiadian self, and I'm feeling it through my brainstem. So I'll just gonna get comfortable here, and if you invite all of you to get comfortable and feel into this space that I created before coming on. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's so good to be with you. Today I'm coming in as my Pleiadian self because um, from that perspective, I can drop down a little bit lower um, energetically to kind of have an overview of the planet and also be more, deliver more of a physical message that you all are seeking at this time. There's so much confusion on the planet, and a lot of disruptions that are taking place. And please know that there is a great deal more going on in the other cosmic streams than can be seen right now. There's a lot of anticipation, a lot of anxiety about how the old systems will collapse, because those of you listening know that it must collapse. You can't build on the same foundations that were actually seeded with deception, seeded with lies about who you truly are, seeded with distorted mother, meaning cosmic mother and cosmic father principles. And so, those of you listening, you understand that at a deeper level, and yet we feel your anxiety. We know your anxiety as humans, because these are systems that you depend on for your survival. You're not in hunter gatherer mode, so to speak, but now you are in these monetary systems, financial systems, and an economic system that you rely on for your survival. And it is, we see that, we meaning many of the other galactic beings, many guardians, many angelic beings who are here really supporting the ascension of humanity. We see and feel that, and um, those of us autists who are on the planet as well, we're also transmitting this sense and feeling, as are all of you who are connected to, the higher realms and your oversoul. They are the cosmos, the Godhead, the source of all that is feeling all of this now through you. And as more access points have opened up to the cosmos, to the original point of creation, then they all see that and know that this is what's happening. And it's unpredictable still how this fall of foundations is going to go, because it also is so dependent on humanity becoming more of a collective and assuming your power as soul beings. There are still a great many people on the planet, and I transmitted this message to my mom a couple of days ago, that are uh, so disconnected from their soul and spirit that they don't really care, in a sense, whether Lucifer is in charge or God is in charge, because they really don't know the difference. These fallen consciousness beings, so to speak, and my mom has been calling them decepticons. Um, uh, Decepticons, those who are incarnated, walking on the planet, and these other beings. Another autist called them big beings with low consciousness, and that's what they are. They're multidimensional, big beings, but with low consciousness. And you have to understand that there has been a game for centuries to disconnect the human from their soul and their spirit. And they have done a good job of that. And now this message is not to be negative, or sound or make you feel more afraid or um, pessimistic about what is happening. But in this now moment, um, it's it feels important to acknowledge exactly where you are now. And so there's lots of talk. There's from other spiritual people jumping on the bandwagon saying, these alien groups that were taken out, or, and we've assumed control. There's white hats and black hats and lots of different language going around. And there are pockets of those kinds of things happening that are true. Um, but it's also important to remember that, be mindful that these decepticons in the multidimensional realms, they have been practicing how to deceive the human through the mental body. And so there's a lot of people that, and my mom included, and my dad, it's a very mental process because this is the world that you have to maneuver through right now. And, um, but there are, false flags being planted as well to get everyone to focus on this thing that's going to happen, this month or next month. And it's not actually not working in that way, because even these Decepticons are not going to let you know exactly when they're planning their next move. So there's bits of information to get everybody kind of scrambling and then looking, at what may or may not happen. So, and some of these new people, new spiritual teachers jumping on board, they're channeling, and they may have the best intentions at heart, and they think they're doing the right thing, but they don't know either that they're channeling a Decepticon, so to speak. And so some people are being downloaded with more entity attachments, um, and to the human that is absent, um, they may not know better, and they may feel good for a little bit, but then something inside of them may be saying that, wait, maybe I need to reevaluate what's happening. So one of the biggest disconnections that's happened is, as many of you know, is that mental body and that emotional body, and really controlling the lower three chakras and that ego identity. And so there are there's progress being made, but there's also a lot of spiritual people just awakening, um, who are kind of being led off track for a bit. Uh, um, so it's important to continue to discern what is happening, um, and it's important to connect to your soul, and even there's new information and new awarenesses even about what it means to be a soul that's coming forward. The latest talk, so to speak, is that you are becoming soul. A lot of people are feeling this, but what does this actually mean? It means that you are a God source consciousness. The soul is like um, a emanation of God. It's a consciousness unit of God source that exists, out in the cosmos. And this uh, dimensionalized system is a temporary manifestation for source to experience itself. And so when this idea of surrendering is coming up, really, it's the best thing is to is surrender to your soul nature of what that is, and feel that in your entire body, because that is what will bring forth your true gifts, what you have to serve to humanity. What is your service to humanity comes from that knowing yourself as a soul. So the autist and myself, we stayed connected to our soul and didn't really connect to the body in a way that humanity was used to, so that we could keep our identity as a soul being. Um, and as now these access points to source are continuing to open, then it's becoming easier. But part of the allowing and the surrendering is to allow uh, the changes, the physical changes that are happening, and yet at the same time being able to discern what is the organic change and what is um, a a distorted another distortions that is leading you kind of away from that. One of the aspects that many of you know has been dominating this last epoch of humanity is the mental body. That it's linear thinking, it's linear processing, um, and it's even and Atlantis was kind of that epoch, but now this is even like a fallen version of that Atlantic, even the Atlantis epoch of mental body. And now, as many of you can see, it's trying to take you on a trajectory to repeat Atlantis, but actually in a more nefarious kind of transhumanism agenda of even more refined and nanotechnology levels of blending the human template with machines, what's inorganic. And it becomes very confusing right now to know, to kind of discern the difference. There are some obvious things that are happening, like the gender confusion, topics, areas. And, some of those people that feel like they're a different sex in their body, they really do feel that in their body. So there's no judgment about that. But as you can see, now they're trying to push even younger and younger children and parents to adopt that kind of thinking. And this is kind of that mental body that's really gone way out of whack. Um, and there's a trajectory for the continued evolving human, and a trajectory of this uh, even more distorted kind of human that is trying to be created. Um, and they will not succeed, but it will appear as though they are for a while here. Um, and as this splitting off or bifurcation continues, especially in the next 3 to 5 years, it will become more evident about that. But the awakening humans right now, they're um, mainly being jarred by the deception of what's happened in the last 2 years around the inoculations. And so people are waking up to that aspect, um, and just trying to grapple with what all of that meant. So there are more of you kind of awakening, but it's going to be confusing still, especially in 2023. And I think, many of you, um, are going to be watching this confusion unfolding amongst the masses. And so um, it's important to continue to uh, connect to soul. And what does that mean? That means like the connection to soul is more available now in a different way. It's available to connect not just through the heart, but actually through the sacral, so that the human template is changing to feel the sounds of the true Holy Mother, the cosmic Mother. Um, and again, it was replaced with a false mother for during this last epoch. I'm going to regroup here myself for a second. Sammie is saying some other things here. So this magnetic sound fields of mother that you're going to start to experience in the lower pelvic area, and many of you already are. You're feeling the lower pelvis, a lot of changes going on, and it's going to stimulate changes to your neurology, particularly the vagus nerve and that system, and the ability to bridge with the I just call it the traditional nervous system that you have known. So much more happening in the corpus callosum, much more happening in the gut, because the vagus nerve goes through the physical heart and the stomach and the intestines, and goes through um, the feet in particular, and particularly through the left foot. That um, channel goes through the left foot. So the electric magnetic is being corrected, and then more bridging in the corpus callosum, which then connects to the amygdala, um, to calm the amygdala down, because as many of you know, you've been on this fight or flight and hyper hyper stimulated amygdala for a while there, and then also your brain stem and the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems going through readjustments. So there's a lot of physical changes that's taking place, and this will help you to upgrade and feel into the planet. Yeah, so Sammie's transmitting a bit more here about Terra, meaning the first, second, and third dimensional Earth. The Pleiadians are certain sectors of the Pleiadians, those from the Seven Sisters, Pleione, the star Pleione, Alcyone, as you know, Taygeta have played roles here on the planet with the physical matter of the earth. And so some of you as Pleiadians were here many thousands of years ago, like tens of thousands of years ago, in Lemurian bodies, working as Lemurians or incarnated as Lemurians, and had an influence on the development of the physical matter of the earth. And so there were some codes planted in the physical earth, in the interdimensional fields of the first and second dimensions, and then the second and third dimensions of the earth, to be triggered by some of you who are uh, are holding Pleiadian consciousness in this life. And these are they're being triggered unconsciously by you. Like you don't have to think about it, but it's they're upgrading the states of matter, of physical matter, or assisting with the upgrade of physical matter to help seed in the new consciousness on the planet. There are many starseed children as well being born and were born. Thankfully, many of them were not inoculated and retaining their pure states of consciousness, and their light bodies will continue to trigger more clearings, clearings from the dark matter field. There are many what some of you would call like demon seeds that were planted in the dark matter fields of anti-life consciousness that has been driving the subconscious and unconscious minds of humanity. And this is why it was important to activate the 16th, 17th, and 18th dimensions here, because that is actually what connected you to the cosmic mother and made some humans or some starseeds aware of the dark matter field. Dark matter has always been, quote there, dark matter is the is not space of where the seeds are planted, even the seeds of belief systems, but also the seeds of your genetics. Now that's a more of a complex topic that we won't go too deep into here. But the dark matter field and the activation of the 16th, 17th, and 18th dimensions are significant in the trajectory of the evolution of humanity. So this also stimulates the particle and antiparticle um, dance, we'll call it, um, to bridge those aspects. Because really, dark matter is all around you. It's what creates the space for you to be able to exist. So again, you have to imagine, how does a soul from outside of time and space come into this reality? How does it incarnate into a body? And there is no time. You entertain these ideas in your religions and spiritual work that there really is no time, there really is no space, and yet here you are. And there has to be a mechanism how you are able to be here in a body, how the soul is able to connect to a body. And so this is what the mother does. This is the mother literally creates that space so that your body and your form can be unique and distinguishable from another human, another body. And um, this is the significance of the mother. That's why there's a womb space where a baby grows. This is what that meaning is, and whether you're physically a man or physically a woman, you access these things. Now, there's questions about whether humans will evolve. There's always talk about men can have babies, and at this time, that's the biology is just different. And if that is something that's organically going to happen, where you become androgynous, then you can allow that. But when there is deception uh, to manipulate the human genes in ways that these humans that are being um, infiltrated by decepticons, deceptive consciousness, they really don't understand the fullness because they're not operating with that mother, cosmic mother consciousness. And so, those of you listening, you understand this, and this is dangerous stuff. This is dangerous tinkering that they're doing. Um, so the dark matter is very, very significant, very, very important. And so going forward, what the allowing and the surrendering means is um, allowing a process of allowing the old to die when it really is supposed to die off now, that consciousness or those belief systems, and allowing something new to arise. And that is the tricky part. We understand. And again, it goes back to who are you as a soul? What does that mean to be a soul? What does it mean to express as a soul? What does it mean when souls are operating as a collective consciousness, which is the real meaning of unity consciousness? It's not dictated to you about who you are and what job you will hold. That's that communist perspective of the tyranny that we need 50 garbage collectors and we need 25 doctors, that do this. That's a limited, view. That's a limited perspective, and that's dictated to you about what you need and what is valuable. From a soul perspective, and what's arising is when you surrender to your own soul nature, then the information of who you are and what attributes you have to give is it organically will arise within you, and then that idea of unity consciousness and a perfect earth, so to speak, where things are in balance, means that um, people understand, each one understands that they're unique for their particular attributes, and there will be a natural order that comes about, on the planet. And this is how the new earth will be born, that it arises out of you. You will feel it. And so this is one of the significant aspects of uh, the soul connecting to the down, even to the sacral, is that creative aspect will bubble up from you, so to speak, from within you. And uh, there will be a natural kind of progression from that. And what we see happening is that people are wondering, like, how do you plan for these falls, when you know that these systems are going to fall? Well, it's already being seeded and planted in the people right into your, what you might call your intuitive and even instinctual levels down to the root. And people will just know what they're supposed to be doing. It will appear kind of miraculous and kind of crazy at times, but um, there is this. kind of inner knowing. And Sammy saying, you know, it makes me want to cry. Um, I was even showing my mom last week. She didn't quite know that it was me, but a lot of the thoughts that come to her mind at times is comes from me, you know, Sammy. But that you're all anticipating, or many of you are anticipating that as things fall apart, that it's going to be really bad. Uh, and it's not to minimize that there will be might be some challenging moments, and most certainly there are areas around the planet, and there are people who will it will be much harder, you know, for them, and we don't minimize that impact, but there will also be um, this kind of uh, awe and wonder of how is this happening, almost like the gears, you know, starting to kind of uh, move together, you know, these well-oiled gears that just kind of start to turn, and a momentum that um, starts to take over, you know, in a sense, and neighbors coming out of their homes suddenly, and you know, going, okay, well, what should we do, you know, and collaborating and coming together in ways that you never quite, you know, imagined that it would, you know, it could be like that. So it doesn't necessarily have to be bad. And we see also that people will suddenly feel this weight lifted off of them, like this oppression, you know, that's that was there, and not even knowing that they were oppressed. And I think that's part of what people are waking up to, in kind of that they've been lied to and duped. So that's just the first step right now, and how deep this goes. And there are many on the planet talking about we just have to co-create a parallel world, you know. So what if we doctors are losing their license? We just have to create something different, you know. Okay, if the schools are trying to push this agenda, then we're going to just start creating a different school over here. And um, that's kind of growing, but people are still, there are still many still trying to fight to keep their kids in the system. They're fighting with the school systems to you know, correct it. And more people will start to gather and just create a parallel, you know, system. And this is really what the bifurcation is going to look like, is just a parallel system. And this sense that there are those that we may not be able to impact, you know, in this lifetime, in this time and space right now. um, and trusting that um, God has a pathway for all these people and all these beings, um, even at the biggest cosmic levels. There are pathways and trajectories, uh, because the big cosmic um, mission, which goes beyond the Earth and even our solar system and galaxy, is that all the distortions are eliminated. And that means even these big beings of low consciousness, you know. So and that may take obviously millions of years, but that is kind of the, it's all going um to that to the into that trajectory, you know. So this message was to convey a kind of a reality of where we're at in this moment, um and that discernment is still needed. Um, uh, so I feel like Sammy's part there is ended. Um, so okay, I'm going to add a bit more about what I was being shown here in the last couple of days. Is that the with this cosmic mother, um, and this is different than like this idea of dark Madonna and things like that. I mean, this is like cosmic mother that I feel like was never really accessed here through from the earth before. So she is drawing now, right? That's magnetic. So she is drawing, that magnetic is drawing this cosmic father of all fathers, um, and this cosmic father then principle, as probably many of you know, the father, that masculine aspect is like the is action, taking action. So it's the mother is like the potentials, and then or the feminine principle. One way of looking at it is the potentials, and then the masculine is like the kinetic energy. That's spirit in motion. And uh, that will obviously, as many of you can imagine, um, start to activate. Uh, it's not even divine masculine. This is like beyond divine masculine that we talk about. So, um, to correct the distorted masculine, and so, um, uh, Sammy's saying it's going to cause more people to fractured consciousness. Fractured consciousness, especially people who are really attached to that patriarchal kind of domination mentality and consciousness. So look for that. November also feels like it's a repeat in a sense of February this year. I just started to realize that today. So like 11/22/2022 is going to be like another 2/22/2022. And that for me, I mean, that was significant because I really felt it like, oh my gosh, we really connected to that origin point. Um, I mean, meaning origin point of the cosmos, I don't know, or an aspect of the cosmos as we know it in this end of the cosmos or the omniverse. So, and the 11 is that the mother and the father, the two represents them together, but now that 11 kind of representing mother and father coming together. I'm not really sure, but that's what it feels like. Uh, is happening. Um, yeah, and someone's mentioning Lemuria. Um, yeah, and I feel like Lemuria is a part of it. Atlantis is a part of it. But I'm personally more attracted to the Tara. And Lemuria and Atlantis are significant, but and I feel like there's a lot of talk. Some people seem to be talk more about Lemuria and the Lemurian consciousness, and some people are connected more to the Atlantean consciousness. Um, I feel like a lot of the star seeds they're coming at it from those different aspects to converge, in healing, kind of those timelines. What happened in Lemuria, what happened in Atlantis, Tara, is big, but I'm more, you know, I feel more connected to Tara, um, even though I feel like I was kind of Lemurian, or there for a portion. Um, definitely Atlantis as well. But yeah, I feel more Taran in a sense. Uh, um, and again, I feel like we're not necessarily going back to um, those timelines necessarily. Uh, we're collecting up um, mastery and teachings and lessons from that. But it's not even the Lemurian template that we're going forward with. It has to be a new template, and I say that because now we're incorporating another harmonic universe, the 16th, 17th, and 18th dimensions, and if we can, and not obviously not everybody is talking about those dimensions, they're not accessing that, and I don't know why or why not, I don't, it doesn't matter. I think everybody as a star seed or a light worker is doing their part. Uh, but it requires a different kind of template, a human template, because we're going to be more aware of dark matter. We're going to be working with that dark matter much more directly, and the technological possibilities working with dark matter, antiparticle. Uh, it just seems huge from what I can, from the little glimpses that I'm shown. Oh, and the other piece about the antiparticle, particle, antiparticle, and these subatomic particles now, working with them kind of differently, or they're going to function the way they're supposed to function, um, especially with neutrinos. Is that Sammie was saying um, that we won't need as much calories from food if all of that is working, functioning properly, if our mitochondria is even functioning um, properly and more upgraded. So, again, I don't know how long that's going to take. Um, but, it's like kind of one of those things. And she said this before, to kind of keep it in the back of our minds. And I bring that up because there's, for those of you listening, there's all this talk about our food supply and things like that. Uh, that's being kind of messed with. So uh, that we may not need as many calories from food as we, thought we did. So just, throwing that out as well. So, well, I feel like I talked for a long time. I knew I was going to be talking for, I was intend like a half an hour, and then I end up yakking for an hour. But thank you for those of you I know trying to join in on our other stream. I don't know. I might do this more regularly. I don't know if it's going to be once a month or every other month. Um, you know, as some of you know, I'm still a full-time mom, really, and so I'm trying to pay attention to that, my kids as well. So, but thank you for joining in, and thank you for listening in. And if you like this video and think it might help others, we hope you'll share it. I think we're going to try and post the audio version on our podcast so that people people can listen to it that way as well, just the audio if you want. So thank you again for joining in, and blessings to all of you. I'm going to close down this field. You might be feeling Arcturus, the star, and Sirius B and C. Um, uh, yeah, so somebody said, hearing that we moved out of artificial chronos time and back over to crystalline natural time was supposed to take a couple of weeks. Yeah, I heard you mention that before. I feel like, yeah, that's the parallel. Um, that's the parallel timeline that we're kind of stepping onto. Uh, that's the way I see it, and other people may still need to be on that old system for a bit more. Um, the other people may need to be on that system a bit longer. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I think this is part of the um, bifurcation. Yeah. 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 Somebody asked about that. Yeah. The Chronos time. And yeah. Um, that's a different language. Maybe we'll look at that more in our Patreon meeting that's coming up on the 15th. Yeah, that's what I forgot to, we have a Patreon page if people want to keep up with some of these things. We're working a lot with dark matter, and we'll probably be talking more about this cosmic father that are seeing coming in. So, if you want to try it for a month, you can cancel anytime. So you're welcome. People are welcome to do that and join us over there if you are interested in our work on a monthly basis. So thank you again, and blessings to all of you. I don't know how to end this, but let me see. How do I end this? Oh, okay. It says end stream down there. Thank you.